Hello everybody, welcome back to another video on my channel. So in this video, I'll be making a web browser using Python. So here we go. To write my Python code, I use this IDE called as PyCharm. I use the PyCharm Community Edition, which is absolutely free. You can install it from Google. So here we go. Here are my lines of code. So before you get forward, I will try to tell you how what Python packages are. Python packages are basically libraries which are made by other developers who also use Python. So the Python has a wonderful ecosystem of developers who make packages, who program packages so that other developers could also use it and make wonderful stuff out of it. So that's the beauty of Python. So we'll be using a major package over here which is called as pyqt5. So to install this, all we have to do is go to the terminal window and type pip install the package name pyqt5, and it automatically gets installed. I mean, for me it's already installed, so it didn't take time, but maybe if you haven't installed it yet, it might take 10 to 20 seconds. So once we install this package, we need to import a few files from it, which is Qt core, Qt widgets, and Qt web engine widgets, which are really essential for a web browser. So once we're done with this, we now start a class where we define it as main window. We use main window over here, and we define the initialization function. So we'll be using main window. We'll be using the dot operator to access the main window to other functions too. So we'll have to use the initialization function over here. So in this function, we basically create the first page of our web browser. So on the first page on the web engine view, we'll first need a search engine. So I prefer to use the Google search engine. So I've entered google.com over here. Next, we create a navigation bar where we can type the URL to go to various websites. So here are the two lines of codes for that. After we do that, we now get to know that a web browser, even the most basic of web browsers, will need four basic functions, which is the back button, the forward button, the reload button, and the home button. Now, this is the home button. I just want to get a little funky and use the word headquarters instead. You can use it. You can call it whatever you want to. Actually, you can call these buttons whatever you want to, or you can just simply stick to the basics. So I prefer to call my home button as headquarters. So here's how we create these buttons. We don't have a lot of graphics in it, so I simply use the lesser than button with two hyphens followed to it, and I did the same thing to the forward button too. So we create the button over here, and once it gets triggered, it connects to go back. And the same thing happens with the forward button, but a little opposite. Once it's triggered, it gets connected to go forward. And we create same button for reload too, but for reload we don't use any kind of symbols and all that. We simply write reload in the button. Once it's triggered, it connects to reload the page. And headquarters, when it's triggered, it goes back to the home page, which has the search engine in it. So here we go, where here is the place where we type. Here are the commands where we type the URL, where we'll be able to write the URLs and stuff. Here are the widgets in it. So we have called a lot of functions over here. So let's see what those functions actually mean. So navigate HQ is basically the function used when we press the headquarter buttons. So when we press the headquarter buttons, we need to get back to the home page, and the home page simply consists of just the Google search engine. So when we press navigate HQ, when we call for navigate HQ, we need to reach to google.com. Navigate URL is used to type the name of the website, the name of the website's URL on the nav bar, so that we can access websites. But by simply using these two functions will not be done, because by using simply these two functions, we'll be able to access only one website. We'll not be able to update the nav bar. So to update the nav bar and use various websites when we want to, we'll have to define the update URL function. So once we do this, we are all set to go, except we need to name our web browser. So I prefer to name it as Netscape Navigator. The OGs will know what Netscape Navigator is. So here we go. Let's run our program. So here comes our web browser, Netscape Navigator. We have the back button, we have the forward button, we have the reload button, and we have our headquarter button, or aka the home button. So let's search for the first thing. Let's say orange. We get everything of an orange over here through the Google search engine. We can go back, we can go forward, we can press the reload button and reload and refresh the page. We can go to the headquarters, which is our home page, which gives just the search engine to us. We can access any kind of website we want to. Let's say we go to the Apple website. The URL gets updated over here. It does so this web browser does everything like a normal web browser. There's no change in graphics of any kind of a website. You can see everything is perfect over here. And now we can simply go back to our headquarters, Google. And that's all I had for my web browser built with Python. I hope you enjoyed the video and I hope you did learn something from it. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.